toucher le cœur droit de parole du Seigneur. Amen.
Et salut. Parole du Seigneur. Amen. Thank you so much, whoever here with me. Thank you so much. Thank you. This is funny, guys. I gotta laugh. It's so funny. It's so funny. It is so funny, guys. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you so much, Kai. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. Whoever's here with me tonight. And we don't know who's there with us right now. Nous avons fait parler sur ça qui a traversé le pays d'Haïti actuellement. Et étant donné qu'on haïtien, nous trouvons ça très bizarre. Et pendant qu'on attendait le porte-parole de la police là, il va se garder aussi. Et il dit côté il kidnappé 3 moun, il y a 2 Dominicains, 1 Haïtien. Et puis côté il te dit son machine blanc et qui a une plaque officielle là-dedans. Et c'est granravin il est allé avec moun. Et nous t'attendait ça et comme Haïtien, nous avons trouvé ça sur un petit peu de worm et pour on porte-parole de la police et pour ce que ça dit, moi question que tu me poser. Qui chef qui est granravin? Qui monde qui est granravin? Comment faire ces granravin pour la police dit il y a là avec monde? Est-ce qu'ils sont belle image? Est-ce qu'ils sont belle image pour le pays d'Haïti? Ou bien non? Et pour même tout ce qui est vraiment drôle, pour y a kidnapper monde pour porte-parole de la police tout, mais côté yo aller avec yo, c'est côté qui est bandit, c'est là aussi yo aller ensemble avec monde. Côté qui est bandit, yo dit c'est là yo aller ensemble avec monde. Et nous avons trouvé ça vraiment drôle et lorsqu'ils ont porte-parole de la police et les campings dit ça, m'a demandé est-ce qu'on y a ça son belle image du pays d'Haïti vraiment et là on porte-parole police camping dit ça, m'a demandé est-ce que pays ça son pays cap dirigé vraiment et si mal les kidnapper et au même qu'est-ce que pour le la chambre a demandé dans le pays d'Haïti. C'est grave, c'est tête chargée.
On cherche pour nous aider, mais nous élaguer
bonsoir tout le monde, Jean-Louis, bonsoir, côté mon Naptan Mounio.
C'est following, Mathis c'est following, Joseph c'est following, on a vu following la monsieur c'est following,
One person Nakaila, one person, thank you for coming, who is coming here, who is here, thank you for coming. It's a thing. Oh boy. Friend, long time don't see. Uh, welcome, sister. Thank you for the thumbs up. Welcome, welcome. Long time don't see. And should I say to you, I should say to you, Happy New Year, Happy Valentine's Day. What else? What else? President Day, because I don't see you for a long time. Then, Lelis, I don't see you in a long time. Thank you for coming, sister. Thank you, thank you. Appreciate that. You're the first one here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for the thumbs up also. Thank you so much. Thank you for coming, sister. Thank you, thank you. Thank you so much, guys.
Pas vraiment gagné monde qui par une radio on dit que nous équipons OK mais jodi a gain pour petit de la kidnapin.
Thank you so much, guy. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We got Glenn Otenga, friend. Thank you, sister. Thank you, friend. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, Glenn. Thank you, Glenn, for coming. Thank you, Glenn. Glenn, I miss you. I don't see you for a couple of days, Glenn. How's everything go? How's everything go for you? How's everything go for you, sister? No problem, not a problem, not a problem, Glenn. I don't see you for a while. You've been missing, you know. When we don't see, we gotta miss one each other, right? We got to. When we don't see, we gotta say we miss one each other, guys. Thank you for coming, sister. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Ding dang. We say Happy New Year, Merry Christmas. A lot of them I don't see you for a long time, sister. Thank you, guys. Thank you, thank you, thank you, guys. We got still Glenn. Thank you, ding dang. Thank you, guys. Thank you, thank you. Glenn say ding ding. Hello, hello, hello. Okay. Mm-hmm. Glenn, hey, hello, hello, hello. Oh no, I get that one. I get that one. I am here, guy. Uno momento. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Thank you. Here we got Glenn and Otenga. Conversation. Stay home. Stay home. Stay home. Stay home. That's all it is. Stay home. Stay home. Stay home. Stay home. Yes. Right, thank you, guys. Thank you, guys. Thank you. We got two people in the house, guys. We got two people, guys. We got two. You need to share me out, guys. Share, guys. When you share with two, one each one, it's gonna make it four, right? It's gonna make it four. It's gonna make it four, guys. Four. Apre, oh, this is. This is. Okay, I'm here. I'm trying to figure out do something. I'm here. Okay. No, we got two C, not one C. Hey, thank you, Glenn. Thank you, Glenn, for the money. Thank you so much for the super chat. Thank you. And you say only host cause I am in the market. Oh, you in the market? What you buying for me? Beautiful Glenn, what you buying for me, Glenn? What you buying, Glenn? What you thank you, Glenn, for the super chat. Thank you so much for the super chat, sister. What you buying from market, Glenn? What you buying for me? What you go cooking? Okay, now I'm back. Now I got it. Now I'm back. Don't tell me who's gone. Glenn says she's in the market. What you buying for me, sister? What you gonna buy for me tonight? Hmm? What did you go buy for me? Thank you for the super chat, Glenn. Thank you so much, Glenn, for the super chat. Since you're in the market, thank you so much, guys. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you. Oh, help you guys. Thank you, sister. Thank you. I mean, only you stay with me since you're on the market, huh? You stay there because you're on the market, right? Thank you so much, guys. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Appreciate you guys so much. That's what I hate about YouTube. It was 300, now it's 98. By tomorrow, it's going to come back to 80 something. YouTube is something else, man. I can understand YouTube sometimes.
Combien de temps pour ça, financement ça, on va connaître. Mon cher, c'est pas ni mon cher, c'est pas au moins le 4. Et tout le monde, il faut faire déjà la liquidation, séparation, comment est-ce que c'est pour ça? Nous avons besoin de faire d'ouvrir, parce que c'est une question fondamentale. D'ouvrir des bagages dans même. Bonjour, et c'est une question fondamentale. Nous avons besoin au nom de la transparence. Pour nous-mêmes, nous sommes journalistes. Tout le journaliste, vous ne pouvez pas casser pas du tout l'État. Au nom de la transparence, c'est pour nous pointer, vous avez une vie,
est-ce qu'il va recevoir financement dans mes pays pendant 3 dernières années? Et c'est pour le courage. Moi, je dis, Madame la Ville, est-ce qu'il va bailler pour tester financement pendant 3 dernières années? S'il va y pour qu'il va aller. Deuxième, pour qui c'est important. Et j'aime ça qui est important. Pour faire promotion autour de la Constitution, pour parler des gens, pour nous remettre à l'île pour nous. Comment une bagaille, on nous régler. Deuxième,
les députés nous prennent un complot.
Nous prenons un complot. Et malheureusement, nous avons compté avec ce qui est ce complot, et pour que ce n'est pas le citoyen qui a fait bon côté dans le carré de comment vous prenez un monde qui n'a oublié, et puis il y a un camp, il y a un port. J'ai étudié avec respect pour la police, même si il y a un point de problème. Et surtout là, et tout la défense, c'est parce que dans les molécules, c'est parce que c'est un bâtiment qui a la haute. Et la force de terre, il y a un dossier de police.
Je ne vais pas dans le tout.
Je ne vais pas dans mon chèque, donc c'est tout ce qui est récolté ça. Ah, non, c'est ce qui est récolté. Alors, je vais dire une deuxième question.
On a dit son pays, on dit que nous allons passer dans l'OPC, dans l'Antital, et dans le qui doit
alors, non. C'était une deuxième question, c'était une question.
Son pays captain.
Et deuxième question, puisque je pense que c'est un problème, et puis vous connaissez, nous sommes là, et mon qui a attaqué la police, et ça fait que les journalistes qui a dit avant dit, et les citoyens qui a dit avant dit. Alors, c'est pas tout à fait l'église d'un journaliste, qui a attaqué la police.
Il y a des manifestants tout.
C'est pour dire que le gars doit continuer à manifester parce que c'est pas un gars qui manifester.
Il va le péter tête de journaliste.
Mais moi-même, on va essayer de faire deuxième question. Moi, je dis maintenant et aussi, j'ai loué les têtes. On va décider de les mettre dans la bouche de
Guy, we here. Thank you so much, guy. Thank you so much. Otenga is in the house. Thank you, Otenga. Thank you. It's still there. Me beautiful Otenga. Thank you, sister.
Pour téléphone comme tu fais mobilisation, la constitution, est-ce que c'est la différence là?
Bon, parce que nous avons là tout. Mais même si même pas dit non tout parce que faut revenir avec et peuple haïtien. Haïti, on le capteur de là, vous mettez Jean député dans le législatif d'ailleurs, vous mettez pas seulement compter et démissionner honnête pour voter plainte, pas seulement contre le docteur Sinaligo pour voter plainte, voter plainte contre tout peuple haïtien. Parce que demain, si tu veux, comme nous l'avons dit, Assise a fait quand même demain, si tu veux, demain, si tu veux, militant, l'eau, population.
Dynamic channel. Oh, look at this. Dynamic channel, 15 years, don't see sister. How you been done, by the way? I mean, 15 years, we don't see. Oh, everybody's here.
Oui,
look at this. Oh, my friend, I've been missing here. I've been missing the brother. Did I see that? No. Yes, I did. Thank you so much, sister. And I did see my sister here. The Zenga Brothers and Family. Thank you, sister. Long time, don't see, sister. Long time. It's been a long years since we don't see. Long years. How you welcome, and also my other sister, which is Din Channel. Thank you also. She said to you, wait there. Yeah, I see you laughing at her. She been missing in action for a long time, huh? She been missing for a long time. Long time missing, huh? Long time. And now, not you, Otanga clan. The Zinga brothers and family. My sister been missing for years. Thank you for coming, sister. Thank you for coming. Thank you for coming. Then make channel. Yep. Yes. It's been a while, guys. Share, guys. Share me out. Share me out.
Ça veut dire, j'en dénonce là, et bah, il a fait. Ok? Et bah, il a fait en bas.
It's been a long time. 4 million people in the house, guys. We got 4 million people in the house.
Pièce d'homme, Bagay, c'est une tentative d'assassinat au cas déjà sur la loi mère qui c'est la constitution haïtienne.
Didn't make you did change. Oh man, it's been a while. Thank you so much. Thank you, sister. Thank you for coming. Thank you for coming.
Journaliste Dorval. Et je salue auditeur qui c'est prophète Mackinson. Et la parole avec ça, je dis pas seulement si c'est moi non, mais on a parlé de nouvelles liées dans les télé-dit. Télé-dit, absolument, prophète tout pays, et chapeau, et pour belle initiative, parce que là, nos amis, et qui étaient supposés quitter le pays à matin, je n'ai pas ça. Les amis supposés quitter le pays à hostel.
Oh, no, didn't make you did change it. You got VIP, you get Logic Super. Okay. That's good. Thank you guys. Thank you. We got 3 million people in the house. We got the brothers and as a family. Thank you. Otanga was here with me beginning, still here with me. Thank you, sister. Thank you.
Et forme conséquente, Charlène Auguste, et moyen salut, et Charlène, et Maxo, et Bonheur, Fernandez, et moyen salut, en tout cas, et mes amis, nous, comme réalité, les gens, il n'y a pas de caché mon rendez-vous demain, devant le complot international, avec 2-3 esclaves.
Didn't make channel, sister. Thank you. Long time don't see. You've been missing. Where you did.
C'est mon cap manifesté là. Vous avez des positions là et les lions qui battent mon allez,
est-ce que médecin pas et juste sur l'autre dit coucher, dit chien va japper monde va manger monde. Parce que c'est hein elle va les comprendre et on va pas besoin de là. Que médecin pas les chiens parce que chien maintenant réagir va prendre des mettre. Soit elle m'a des mettre pour les chiens net. Et je pense que pour l'image des pays, nous avons besoin de
voir passer demain pouvoir PC population haïtienne il y a une responsabilité pour poser Unavoidable ensemble de questions ça. Vous dites Unavoidable qui est-ce qui a le droit, qui est-ce qui a le mandat pour que lui à faire consultation et assise sur une nouvelle constitution. Moi-même, Nous sommes contents de nous parler de Unavoidable, après frère pour lui, il est garage, parce que je connais, l'on a des boss maçonniers, ils mettent 26 volts là, mais boss maçon a tout dans la tête. Unavoidable ne pas mériter tout ça qu'on a bagué. Il est clair. Unavoidable de gagner le boss, et normal de shooter, boss est là aujourd'hui. Et je dis à aujourd'hui, et nous voyons, là, fait complot.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. The main channel is still in the house, guy. Thank you so much, sister. Thank you.
Il est clair. Nous sommes qui gens pour amender le passé de la donne. Unavoidable soit fait là. C'est comploter contre le haïtien. C'est goumen pour bailler Jovenel Moïse des intimités. C'est qu'on va faire puisque la population, constitution.
Thank you so much, guy. Thank you.
On est un coup Jovenel Moïse, puisque Jovenel Moïse, dans le moment où on a parlé là, il n'est pas président encore. Unavoidable, soit fait, il n'est pas bon, et le peuple haïtien va gagner pour une réponse par rapport avec ça, fin de vie. Ma petite peuple haïtien, demain matin, rendez-vous à casser dans le PC. Tout le monde qui c'est moun, rendez-vous à casser demain matin dans le PC.
Thank you so much, guy. Thank you. We got 3 million people. 3 million people in the house, guy. Thank you so much, guy. Thank you so much, guy. The world is upside down, guy. What's going on in the world today? What's going on in the world today, guys? Thing is upside down, guy. Upside down.
Situation pays à vivre là, c'est pas constitution pour Unavoidable d'avoir régiment je dis à papa ici, c'est kidnapper. Qui ça Unavoidable dit sur le phénomène kidnapping dans la société? Qui ça Unavoidable dit sur journaliste?
Let's go, guy. Problem.
Qui ça dit? Qui ça Unavoidable dit comme protecteur citoyen? Est-ce que journaliste ça est pas citoyen et tout? Qui ça Unavoidable dit si tu monde 5 ans de touiller ou la que sous le fatras, qui ça dit? Ça Unavoidable dit ça dit sur ça. Qui position Unavoidable de prend sur c'est ça. La bien même chose comme dit ça. Je t'appelle pas ici pas de jeunes nègres qui a fait comme en bas avec des organisations internationales. Il faut sur le monde qui vous prend responsabilité ou de la mission de la loi Baou. Soit frère là, Unavoidable, ou bien aller remettre comme là. Pour mettre aller remettre comme là, parce que quoi pas passer Unavoidable. Et à partir de la soya, vous pouvez ajouter 10 moun, 10 mandats. Vous mettre mandat pour moun qui dans cité soleil, moun qui dans granravin, qui connaît de moments difficiles. Moun yo mette dehors, la salle yo, faut mettre mandat pour tout, parce que pas notre constitution pas là. Et notre constitution qui est? Un tout petit peu ici, ça. Jovenel Moïse, pas gagné de bon. Il était capable de la nation. D'ailleurs, regarde Jovenel Moïse, où est-ce que vous êtes? Vous avez provisé, campagne anti, 3000 mantis par année. Et je dis là, il y a un mantis dans la conseil de sécurité, et pour un ensemble de diplomates, représentants divers pays qui prennent ça contre le pied. Et il y a des diplomates même qui disent pour une transition pacifique de l'Haïti, en façon pour résoudre ça qui est là comme président. Jovenel Moïse, il est clair que nous avons fini, nous avons passé 5 ans sur le pouvoir, à tout pays, on peut, à bailler mon menti, grâce à l'idée, pour arriver pour retirer là. Ou pas besoin comme si, à passer par un bar, parler avec petit blanc pour gagner dans l'international là, pour bailler dans les petits monnaies, pour même, pour faire ça, pour ça va passer. Ouais, on a Douvel, il met tête dans deux catégories dans Haïti. Moun qui grand goût, avec moun qui pas courir à manger. Ouais, on a grand goût, pas rien à faire. Et ouais, grand goût. Et de coup, avec tout, qui pas courir à manger, de coup, n'importe qui ti bol manger, pas rien à faire. On a Douvel dans la catégorie ça. Ce soir, on a Douvel son grand goût, ou bien on a Douvel pas courir à manger. Si le cas voulait bien la population dans la boula.
We got 2 million people in the house, guys. We got 2 million here. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you, guys. Don't forget to share me out, guys. Don't forget to share me out. To share me out. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you. Let's charge.
Et moi, je dis, papa, ici, toujours fait, moi, c'est que son faute. Nous pas de attendre l'international. Nous pas de attendre l'ambassade états-unienne. Nous pas de attendre COEA, CONU, qui a bien nous faire sur situation que la vie là, pour changer statut pour nous. Et bien, nous-mêmes, nous devons prendre l'initiative pour changer statut pour. Parce que les États-Unis, on va parler de peuple. États-Unis, non? On va parler de gouvernement. Il n'y a pas jamais intérêt que l'Haïti.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Be patient, yes. Thank you, Dan. You look gorgeous with your sunglasses, with your heart on, like a supermodel. Yes.
Comme comme ça compter sur les États-Unis qui vont venir prendre des décisions pour nous. Nous allons compter sur eux. Nous allons compter sur l'Union européenne. Nous allons compter sur quelle ambassade ici. Puisque l'ambassade de pas innocent, ça n'a plus de jeudi. Si nous créons pour le quartier populaire, l'ambassade de pas innocent.
Danger.
Le chef de pas innocent.
Danger.
Ça n'a plus de jeudi. Et nous pas c'est nous qui prenons l'initiative pour changer les conditions de vie.
Danger.
Et si nous pas prenons l'initiative pour changer les conditions de vie, nous allons garantir pas toujours voisin cochon.
Oh. Dangereux.
Dans la cité soleil.
Dangereux.
Il y a toujours voisin chien.
Dangereux.
Il y a toujours massacré nous dans la belle. Il y a toujours massacré nous dans le pays. C'est nous qui prenons l'initiative.
Where's everybody go? What's going on? Guy, let's get go.
Toujours pas de travail, pas de faire deux universités. On toujours checker mon demander de nous là. Tu vas prendre l'initiative si c'est blanc. Attention, c'est bien. Donc, imaginons, comme professeur informatique, donc, côté après pays, où sont les tâches supposées de pays. Je dis avec eux, professeur d'école.
My sister, nice to see you, sister. Nice to see you. You've been missing so much. I miss you for a whole year. I think I miss you for Christmas. I miss you for Valentine's Day. I miss you for what else? For the New Year. It's like almost 4 years. Right? No, yeah, that's what it is. After December, it's been a year. Oh yes.
Je dis à Dieu, il va toujours là. Et je dis à mon frère que peuple haïtien, nous prenons initiative pour que change la bagarre là, pour changer d'ordonnance. Pas une donne blanc, nous avons une pleine pied blanc. Nous avons une paix blanc. Nous avons une état blanc. Moi, je félicite l'initiative, par exemple, les gars prennent produits blancs, parfois nous changeons à faire l'ambassade là. On l'autre bord tout. Même boss c'est que l'ambassade des États-Unis dans le pays d'Haïti va aller tout le monde ça. Et le jour où on a fait Bagay ici en Haïti, nous allons consulter, nous allons garantir que nous allons tirer bouche dans Bagay. Pour ça, comme si nous allons quitter pour ça en ambassade là. Nous allons livrer, mais c'est ça nous avons besoin de nous. C'est nous, comme Haïtiens, nous avons une initiative pour changer les conditions de la vie. Et pas partir en ambassade. Nous avons fait une meilleure génération même pour nous. Mackenzie, nous avons dans le syndicat. La génération pour nous. Le visa paparazzi. C'est clair. Parce que je dis, maintenant, tu peux pas ici.
Mais causer.
Nous prenons responsabilité. Pas pour nous saluer. Nous sommes gens, nous saluons. Il faut nous prendre l'initiative pour changer le condition de la vie. Et nous gardons demain matin, on se les journalistes. Nous gardons les réactions. Et les Sahara, nous allons qualifier est-ce que nous ou pas. Par quoi ça fait mal dit. Il y a un conseil de sécurité. Il y a des bandits qui sont habillés en journaliste pour tirer sur la police. Vous entendez? Et dans le jour qui a fini là, c'est de Mackinson, un film qui est pour faire côté Léon Charles, pour arrêter, on a un jacket journaliste sous lui, qui se même Genève pour dire, même bandit, que Jovenel Moïse a parlé. Nous, nous comprenons. Oui, si journaliste, faut comme si nous mettions des petits de côté, faut serrer là aujourd'hui. Parce que si nous ne serrer là, Jovenel Moïse a tout nous sous base de tout le bandit. Il dit, les journalistes soit battent là. Mackinson, c'est pardon. Son bandit, je veux dire tout. Ça dit, journaliste, ça demande des sang, de l'ensilené, Anis Makajou, dans la galaxie, de tout. Tu as fait connaître 200 là comme ça pour journaliste. Jovenel dit son bandit tout. Jovenel dit son bandit là, parce que c'est bandit qui a mis un journaliste. Mais Jovenel Moïse était oublié pour dire que la vie on paquet de bandits dans la police. Et que le policier qui a prédit tout pour gagner la vie, Jovenel Moïse mettait en prison sous base que c'est bandit. Et n'a plus droit par exemple. Moi-même, je dis si papa ici en soya, on m'a arrivé comme on le fait camper. On m'a arrivé pour nous prendre responsabilité. Jeunesse le propre, demain matin, rendez-vous au PC. Fednel, rendez-vous au PC. Cripet, Josie, pour responsabilité au PC. Ensemble de moun qui t'a vu la saline de perte avec deux en bas, demain au PC. Au PC. Tête ensemble, secteur démocratique, demain au PC. Nous allons assis là. Pour nous demander, Unavoidable, côté de mission ça. Est-ce que c'est peuple haïtien qui a mission pour la faire assis sur la Constitution? Est-ce que nous disons que nous avons des problèmes de Constitution? Et la Constitution l'a parlé avec qui est-ce qui va le faire? Est-ce qu'avec Joseph Jean-Louis, il va le faire? Et nous disons ça. Le grand tabac, nous savons. Mais ça nous a dit. Vous pouvez parler de Unavoidable, pas de chien pour nos citoyens. Nous songez qu'un ensemble de dossiers qui sont dans nous. On paquet de malversations qu'a fait dans le dossier, non, on a parlé là. On paquet de quoi qu'a fait dans le dossier. Et le sujet, nous sommes qui battent madame, est-ce pas doué là, on a qui protecteur citoyen. On a pas ça pas de répéter nous. Si les gars qui est madame, ils calent, ils battent, et je dis à protecteur citoyen. Il parle de la dynamique d'exploit intérêt population citoyen dans citoyen, mais qui doit servir un petit groupe blanc pendant avec un Jovenel Moïse que mandat fini. Jovenel Moïse que même pas citoyen qui a arrêté, mais dans le commissariat plus près, parce que le pas président encore. Et mon question m'a posé à Soya, dans un ministre finance de facto, et qu'on a une question ça. Sur qui base, il va payer Jovenel mois février. Il va payer Jovenel mois février. Là, c'est une question ça. Quand il va débloquer pour mois février pour Jovenel Moïse à Haiti, il va débloquer comme ça.
In Somalia, while we acknowledge several positive developments that have been achieved, as well as the advances that have been generated by the agreement, it is regrettable that we have yet to see its full implementation so far.
Mighty figures, so that their important voices are heard. To build trust in this process, it will also be necessary to ensure that the management and oversight of the agreed electoral process are as impartial and independent as possible, and subject to regular monitoring. Core political freedoms, including those of speech, assembly, organization, and access to media, must be ensured, and communication among the main actors, and especially the FGS and FMS leaders, must continue on a regular and frequent basis to minimize future misunderstandings and resolve problems before they escalate. The United Nations and other international partners stand ready to walk with Somalis on this path forward through providing good offices or a forum for dialogue, offering technical assistance to the process, and monitoring implementation of commitments should the Somali parties find these contributions useful. The longer national political attention continues to be focused on the current impasse over holding elections, the greater will be the negative impact on other priorities, such as advancing security and economic reforms, finalizing the Constitution, and pursuing the development agenda. Madam President, Al-Shabaab continues to pose the primary threat to the security of the country. Al-Shabaab has increased its operational tempo since August 2020, and the beginning of 2021 has seen a new peak in the number of attacks, including more person-borne and vehicle-borne IEDs, targeting government officials and key figures in Somali society. Important military gains were made by Somali security forces backed by AMISOM in the Lower Shabelle region in early 2019 and again in early 2020. And these are now being consolidated to enable further progress against Al-Shabaab in other areas. UNSOS has remained steadfast in delivery of support to AMISOM and eligible Somali forces throughout this period, despite the complications of the COVID pandemic. Meanwhile, preparatory work has been completed to advance the security transition in Somalia in 2021, as requested by this council. The federal government organized meetings of the Security and Justice Committee, as well as the Somalia Partnership Forum in early December, thereby advancing the comprehensive approach to security and the mutual accountability framework. We encourage the government to continue these efforts and to hold the Fourth Generation Conference announced by the Prime Minister as soon as possible. The Council mandated independent assessment of the security situation and the role of international partners was submitted to the Council on January 8th, and the Somalia Transition Plan was updated and presented by the Somali government to security partners and the African Union PSC in early February. These are all important elements to advance the security transition this year and lay the foundations for further progress in the future. Madam President, the humanitarian situation remains dire. The number of people in need of assistance will increase from 5.2 million persons last year to an estimated 5.9 million persons in 2021. This is the result of increasing food insecurity, climatic disasters, the worst desert locust infestation in decades, and the effects of the COVID-19 pandemic. Unfortunately, in recent weeks, we have seen a renewed spike in COVID cases in Somalia, which will only exacerbate the already difficult humanitarian situation. Somalia is eligible for the COVAX vaccine program, and the United Nations, in close collaboration with the Somali authorities, will ensure that the first batch of vaccines is effectively distributed to frontline workers and vulnerable groups across the country. While we are deeply grateful for the generous donor contributions in 2020 The humanitarian needs will continue to be high, and we again appeal for donor support to the humanitarian response plan for 2021, for which $1.09 billion is requested. The UN family also continues to work with Somali authorities and partners on longer-term solutions to these recurrent humanitarian shocks. For example, our mission's environmental advisor is engaging the government to develop climate-related policies and strategies, as well as practical responses to flood and drought cycles impacted by climatic conditions. Finally, Madam President, while these quarterly briefings typically focus on the latest political, security, and humanitarian developments, we must always remain mindful that enduring positive change for Somalis will require institution building, improvements in governance through many elements, including constitutional reform, investment in health and education, greater participation by women, youth, and marginalized groups, and other long-term reforms. The UN in Somalia continues its work with Somalis in all these areas, knowing this will take persistence and perseverance. It is also imperative that these larger future goals be borne in mind by Somalia's political leaders. The Somali people have waited a long time to see progress, and it remains fragile. That is why I conclude by urging all of Somalia's political leaders to pull back from confrontation and avoid risky winner-take-all tactics. Instead, this is a time to pursue dialogue and compromise, to reach an inclusive and credible political agreement to hold elections as soon as possible based on the 17th September model. Thank you.
I thank Mr. Swan for his briefing. Before moving to Mr. Francisco Madeira, I'd like to correct the Article 37 briefing details. The representative of Somalia is in fact His Excellency Mr. Abdirizak Mohammed, Minister for Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation. I apologize for the earlier misinformation. I now give the floor to Mr. Francisco Madeira. You have the floor.
Madam President, thank you for the opportunity to brief the Security Council on Somalia once again. Let me start by congratulating the United Kingdom for its presidency of the Security Council for the month of February. Today's meeting is taking place in the aftermath of the 19 and 20 February events, which, as my colleague James Swan has described, and these events resulted in the eruption of armed clashes in Mogadishu as Somali political leaders struggle to unblock the current political impasse and allow the country to hold peaceful, inclusive, and transparent elections. The chairperson of the Afternoon Commission, His Excellency Musa Faki Mohammed, demanded restraint and urged Somali stakeholders to refrain from acts that can escalate tension and lead to further violence. He reiterated the importance and absolute necessity for elections as a means for the renewal and reaffirmation of people's trust and confidence in their leaders, and for the consolidation of peace, stability, territorial integrity, and sovereignty of Somalia.
You need to sleep.
Madam
You need to go to sleep. Yeah, go. Go to sleep.
The armed clashes of 19 and 20
Go
February
to sleep.
have died down and stopped. But
There's no more apple here. Go to sleep.
the political tension
It's no good.
and the underlying causes that
Go
led
to
to those
sleep.
clashes have not. It is therefore important that Somali stakeholders return to the negotiating table, remain focused, continue with their dialogue, guided by the spirit of constructiveness, compromise, and consensus to agree on a credible process that can, in a peaceful and conducive environment, deliver free and transparent election in conformity with the 17th September Agreement. A lot has already been achieved in this regard. The leaders of the FGS and FMS, the two chambers of the National Parliament, the Council of Presidential Candidates, the business community.
Acts perpetrated by Al-Shabaab over the last few months is a matter of serious concern. Last week's suicide bombing in Mogadishu reflects the fragile security situation in the country. We strongly condemn these terror attacks. We are also concerned at the increased use of IEDs by Al-Shabaab and call for extending support to Somali security forces in building their capacity to tackle this menace. Madam President, AMISOM has been playing a key role in containing Al-Shabaab in Somalia for several years now. AMISOM remains the rallying point of the international community's efforts for stabilization of the security situation in the country. We commend all AMISOM troops and police contributing countries for their commitment and for the sacrifices they have made. We have taken note of the recommendation
and we have drawn consequences in many cases. I think it's important to look at that from that angle too, from the difference our peacekeepers make. I would also like to recall that we have a vetting policy. The commanders as well as the units that we send to the field are screened. Ourselves informed of the talks regarding ceasefire, how it could be monitored and implemented, and what the role of the UN can be. To the best of my understanding, there's still a lot of work that has to be done to clarify all this. But certainly, as far as we are concerned, and with our capacity, Office of Military Affairs, and perhaps UN Police, we would be ready to help should the UN be called on.
Clearly a gifted student, the Filarmonia Vallecana trained her well.
Es una excelente alumna.
She's an excellent student, first class. We're doing everything in our power to make sure.
Establish a basis for Haiti socio-economic development and put an end to this transition, which was started 35 years ago. Thus, my government has committed to substantial and lasting change to our societies and the quality of life for our people. This covers electricity, agricultural, environment, administrative reform. Here I'd like to thank the support that we've received to make quicker progress. And also, ladies and gentlemen, members of the council.
Hey Kim, I'll be right back. Give me a second, man. I'll be right back, hey Kim. Nice to see you, man.
To establish lasting peace and security following decades of trauma and shock. With the constant support of the Security Council and the international community as a whole, we are convinced that we can make progress towards a peaceful and prosperous future for all. I thank you very much.
I thank His Excellency, Mr. Moise, for his statement. I now give the floor to those council members who wish to make statements. And I give the floor to the representative of the United States.
Thank you, Mr. President, and thank you, Special Representative Lalim, for your updates on the situation in Haiti and for the extensive efforts and those of your entire team. Ms. Rock, thank you for your briefing and for reminding us of the urgent need to focus on the challenges faced by Haiti's young people. President Moise, we welcome you to the council and we appreciate your participation today. Let me begin with something we all know. Legislative elections were due in Haiti in October 2019.
Both before and after that date, members of this council repeatedly called on Haiti's political stakeholders to come together, to set aside their differences, and to find a way forward to address Haiti's most pressing challenges. They chose not to do so. However, ultimate responsibility for creating an atmosphere conducive to free and fair elections, and then conducting those elections, must rest on the government. The United States is disturbed that Haiti's prolonged period of rule by decree continues. We believe decrees should be limited to actions necessary for essential functions, safety, and the conduct of elections. However, recent actions unilaterally removing and appointing 3 Supreme Court judges, creating a national intelligence agency, and actions constraining the role of Haiti's independent audit agency risk damaging Haiti's core democratic institutions.
Wow.
Once again, we urge the government of Haiti to hold overdue legislative elections as soon as possible in order to restore the parliament's constitutional role. The Haitian people deserve the opportunity to elect their leaders and to restore Haiti's democratic institutions. While we recognize that an enormous amount of work remains to be done, 2021 must be the year of both legislative and presidential elections in Haiti. At the same time, we applaud the government of Haiti for its decision in September to increase the budget of the Haitian National Police, which has long suffered from a lack of resources. Despite this increased focus on law enforcement, however, as we've heard, gang violence continues to be a serious problem. As kidnappings rose by over 200% in 2020.
That's true.
And homicides
I'll be
are
with you,
also
Akim. Give
on
me a
the
second,
rise.
man. Be with you in a
We
minute.
urge Haitian authorities to redouble their efforts to investigate and prosecute violent crime, including sexual and gender-based violence, to strengthen community policing practices, and to safeguard the human rights of residents of gang-controlled neighborhoods. We are also troubled by the ongoing lack of accountability for human rights violations and abuses.
Wow,
In
that's true.
December, the United States sanctioned 3 former Haitian officials under the Global Magnitsky Human Rights Accountability Act for their role in the 2018 La Salim attack, in which at least 71 people were killed.
Wow.
But La Salim, Bel Air, and the assassination of Dorval in August all highlight the urgent need to end impunity, beginning with concrete actions to protect citizens from violence through effective policing and timely adjudication of criminal cases. The development and implementation of a national strategy for the investigation, prosecution, and adjudication of cases of serious crimes with support as appropriate is also worth considering. The United States continues to encourage and promote the development of an independent, credible, and effective judicial sector in Haiti. We are concerned about executive orders undermining the judiciary and intermittent strikes by key judicial actors, which continue to negatively affect the functioning of the judiciary and limit the numbers of hearings and judicial proceedings held. A fully functioning judicial sector is essential to the tasks of taking on impunity and corruption and to reducing endemically high levels of prolonged pretrial detention. All of this takes place against the backdrop of an economic downturn in Haiti, further exacerbated by the COVID-19 pandemic. Economic instability, recurring fuel shortages, and acute food security have combined to undermine progress toward development and worsened an already grave humanitarian situation. On January 11th, the United States announced an additional $7.5 million in development assistance to Haiti. This new funding will be used to implement USAID programs in a wide range of areas, including health, education, food security, agricultural development, water and sanitation, and governance. Together with the government of Haiti, civil society, and our partners, we will continue working towards sustainable development and to help keep Haiti on the path to self-reliance. Let me conclude by reiterating the need to bring the current period of rule by decree to a swift conclusion. It is only through the presence of a stable, democratic, and fully representative government that issues such as violence, corruption, and civil and human rights abuses can be meaningfully addressed. The United States will continue to stand with Haiti as it builds a better future. Thank you.
I thank the representative of the United States for his statement, and I now give the floor to Representative Dorval.
Thank you, Mr. President, and I thank the Secretary General and the Special Representative Lalim for the report and her updates, and for the concrete recommendations therein, which we support. I also thank Ms. Rock for sharing her experiences with the Council and the President Moise for his statement. President, Haiti's turbulent political situation, which is evolving, is indeed troubling and a stark reminder of the country's fragile and precarious situation. There is an urgent need for a nationally owned governance reform to overcome the structural obstacles to stability and development. Genuine commitment to democratic principles must be a prerequisite. We urge the political actors to commit to dialogue towards a common agenda. The proposed electoral calendar, which with a constitutional referendum as well as local and presidential elections, is an ambitious plan. Yet, if implemented in an orderly and peaceful manner, it could represent a first step out of the current crisis. Mr. President, Norway is deeply concerned about Haiti's vulnerability to natural disasters due to climate change and environmental degradation. It impacts livelihoods and leads to increased poverty and internal displacement, which consequently fuels crime, unrest, and further instability. According to the FAO, Haiti is currently among the most food insecure countries in the world. A total of 4.4 million Haitians are in need of humanitarian assistance. This is a staggering figure with far-reaching consequences. Evidence of low crop yield due to below normal rainfall this year will likely contribute further to increasing food insecurity. To sustain livelihoods and prevent further instability, the government needs to invest more in food production without delay. President, the growing levels of violence and human rights violations and abuses are shocking. Norway calls for comprehensive government response to address community violence. Impunity for killings, arson, and kidnappings have led to
My
cycles
vlog,
of injustice
I will just go and check.
We urge the authorities
Guy,
to
I'm
bring
here, guy. Give me a few minutes. I'll be right with you, guys. Don't go nowhere. Stay tuned.
We are deeply concerned that grievances and strikes by key judicial actors have exacerbated challenges to the Haitian prison service, contributing to unacceptable overcrowding. Judicial reform, along with systematic human rights monitoring and reporting, must be prioritized. The situation for women and children also remains alarming. Protection against sexual and gender-based violence and access to sexual and reproductive health services must be strengthened. President, Norway firmly believes that an inclusive political process with respect for human rights is a prerequisite for overcoming the current crisis and paving the way for a more just and stable society. We welcome that these issues are being brought to the Council's attention from the thorough reporting on human rights violations and abuses conducted both by OIHCHR and BNU, whose work we support. We would encourage an even stronger focus on gender in the reporting. It is evident that exclusion, neglect, and deprivation of rights set the stage for the current conflict. We urge the Haitian government to endorse the National Action Plan on Human Rights and ensure its implementation without delay. This entails the full, equal, and meaningful participation of women in all aspects of life, including in political processes. In closing, Mr. President, allow me to reiterate that Norway fully supports BNU and its ongoing work towards consolidating and strengthening the capacity of Haitian institutions. That being said, the means for a durable solution remains in the hands of Haitians themselves. I thank you, Mr. President.
Wow.
I thank the representative of Norway for her statement, and I now give the floor to the representative of the Russian Federation.
Thank you, President. We are grateful to the Special Representative of the Secretary General, Ms. Helen Lalima, for her briefing on what is an extremely complex situation in Haiti and also the work of the UN Integrated Office in the country. We're also grateful to Ms. Viviane Rock for her briefing and welcome to her meeting today. Many months of political turbulence have been a catalyst for growth in the activities of criminal gangs, and all strata of the country's population have suffered because of it. This hits civilians particularly hard. They desperately need a stable state that is able to solve the numerous problems before it, from natural disasters to the risk of epidemics. The risk also affects foreign citizens too, and we were concerned to hear about the kidnapping today of 2 citizens of the Dominican Republic. We understand the concerns of the protesters calling for security, which is the primary responsibility of the government to provide. We are convinced that the situation has deteriorated primarily because of a lack of consensus in the political sphere. This polarization has already led to a stoppage in work of the Parliament and has not allowed them to move to practically address the existing problems in the country. First and foremost, those linked to security, not to mention humanitarian issues, economic recovery and development. We would recall that the situation in Haiti is not unique in that the key to its resolution is, as ever, a political one. But it is only possible to solve this through broad internal dialogue between the political forces and communities. And here the Security Council has placed a particular role on BNUH, and the basis of BNUH's mandate is to assist inter-Haitian dialogue. We trust that work in this field will be stepped up as much as possible in the run-up to the various milestones in this year's political calendar, presidential and parliamentary elections, and also the nationwide discussion on constitutional reform. At such an important moment for the country, we need to be certain that all views are duly taken into account. We welcome the readiness of Secretary General to provide Haiti with electoral support on the request of the country's government. We know that similar requests were received from other states in the region too. However, the reaction to them wasn't always the same. We'd call for a single set of criteria for such support. During previous discussions at the Council on the situation in Haiti, we did warn that if the country continues with a practice of unilateral decision-making, this will increase the risk of escalation. The last 4 months have only reaffirmed this fear. The growth in protests and claims for executive authority, a product of a legislative vacuum, and threats to the independence of the judiciary and authorities. It is clear that we need a sensible balance to achieve public agreement on this, and this is only possible through mutually respectful dialogue based on existing legislation. Port-au-Prince needs a responsible international assistance to avoid further entrenching social divisions and to avoid the situation snowballing into a regional-wide humanitarian crisis. As a member of the Security Council, Russia will continue to work to ensure that the outcome of UN assistance is a solid normalization of the situation in Haiti and strengthening sovereignty and self-sufficiency. Thank you very much.
I thank the representative of the Russian Federation for his statement, and I now give the floor to the representative of St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have the honor to deliver this statement on behalf of Kenya, Niger, Tunisia, and St. Vincent and the Grenadines, the A3+1. We thank the Special Representative of the Secretary General, Ms. Helen Lalim, for her briefing and express our appreciation for BNU's efforts in Haiti's stabilization process. We also express our appreciation for Ms. Viviane Rock, Director of Pluriel Haiti, for her presentation, and we welcome His Excellency Jovenel Moise, President of the Republic of Haiti. Mr. President, in a month's time, the world will be commemorating the International Day of Remembrance of Victims of Slavery and the Transatlantic Slave Trade. We will also be celebrating the legacy of the people of Haiti as the first Black nation to gain independence by overcoming colonialism and slavery. The present situation in Haiti, however, is extremely disquieting. Since our last meeting, the status quo in our sister Caribbean nation remains. The political gridlock lingers, the security situation is volatile, and the socio-economic and humanitarian situation continues to deteriorate. Unpredictability looms large, and we are greatly concerned that the deepening political impasse has placed the country on a precipice. In this respect, we echo the call of CARICOM, encouraging all parties to engage in meaningful dialogue in the interest of peace and stability, and strongly urging that action be taken to foster a safe environment, a return to normal life, and the building of a sustainable democratic institutions. The A3+1 continues to follow very closely the highly polarized situation and is concerned about the non-existence of a parliament since January 2020. As a result of the failure to should I continue? Yes. As a result of the failure to complete overdue legislative elections. We, however, appreciate the development of an electoral timetable and encourage the Haitian political actors to undertake measures, including finalizing logistical arrangements to ensure the convocation of free, fair, inclusive, transparent, and credible elections. We further underscore the need to uphold the rule of law and electoral processes, and stress the importance of being guided by the letter and spirit of the constitutional order, whilst placing the needs and interests of the people at the forefront. It is our contention that any solution to the current crisis must be Haitian-led and Haitian-owned. We understand that there are strongly held divergent views and tensions are high. As such, it is critical that the parties set aside their differences, build consensus, and chart a viable way forward. We also call on the political leaders to convene a national dialogue and commence a period of national reconciliation. As it relates to security, we are dismayed by the upsurge in violence, in particular, the scourge of gang-related criminal activities, including kidnappings. We are further perturbed by reports of rogue police officers' involvement in coordinating violent gangs and call for full investigation and accountability for those found culpable. We repeat our support for the National Commission for the Disarmament demobilization and reintegration, in reducing community violence, and encourage the government to swiftly undertake measures to adopt the draft National Security on Community Violence Reduction. This strategy would enhance the state's security machinery to combat criminal activities. Additionally, we welcome the allocation of resources to the Haitian National Police, strengthening this critical institution to ensure that it executes its mandate, including the disruption of criminal networks and syndicates, such as the G9, is pivotal. Mr. President, the nexus between peace, security, and sustainable development is interwoven into Haiti's human rights situation. The A3+1 deplores the persistent human rights violation, including against the groups made most vulnerable, and calls for accountability and the end to impunity. It remains imperative that justice is brought to all victims of atrocities, including the late Dorval. In this regard, we underscore the importance of respecting international human rights law. More specifically, we regret the lack of progress of the judicial investigations in Levallois, Granravin, La Saline, Bel Air, and Pont Rouge Cité Soleil cases, as well as the inability to enforce pending warrants for prominent gang members such as Jimmy Cherizier. Indeed, the lack of accountability facilitates the continuation of gang-related violence. We therefore urge the authorities to spare no effort to ensure that justice prevails for the victims. Adopting the National Action Plan on Human Rights endorsed in December 2019 by the Haitian Interministerial Committee on Human Rights will assist in this regard. The socio-economic and humanitarian realities require the urgent assistance of the international community with the operationalization of the humanitarian development peace nexus. Accordingly, it is essential that donor countries continue contributing to Haiti's 2021 to 2022 humanitarian response plan. Mr. President, the international community has a critical task in providing comprehensive support to assist Haiti in alleviating its complex challenges and legacy of underdevelopment. It is past time that we begin the dialogue process for reparation for the legacies of underdevelopment in Haiti.
Child, please.
History, ancient and recent, that peace and development are inseparable. The people of Haiti have already suffered enough. They deserve to live in peace. They deserve a future that offers prosperity. We urge all stakeholders, difficult and complex though it may be, to enter into a constructive dialogue and to work together to build a better Haiti. The A3+1 reiterates its support to BNU, CARICOM, and BOS, and renews
you got this, Ikem. You got this.
Organizations and the wider international community to continue accompanying Haiti in its pursuit for political and socio-economic stability. Kenya, Niger, Tunisia, and St. Vincent and the Grenadines stand in solidarity with the people of Haiti. I thank you.
With the people in Haiti, not with the president.
I thank the representative of St. Vincent and the Grenadines for her statement, and I now give the floor to the representative of Estonia.
Thank you, Mr. President. I thank SRSG Helen Lalim and Ms. Vivian Rock for informative briefings.
This is Palestine represents
I also
United
welcome the
Nations.
presence of His Excellency President Jovenel Moise. Estonia is concerned about the lack of political stability in Haiti, and in this critical time, more effort and responsibility is required from all parties to demonstrate their political will. We call all political actors to resolve their differences through peaceful dialogue. The elections process and announcement of the electoral calendar constitutes the opportunity that should be wisely used to overcome long-lasting political crisis and restore democracy and stability in Haiti. It is crucial that the referendum on the constitutional amendments in April, as well as legislative and presidential elections later this year, will be conducted peacefully. Success of the elections needs good technical preparation. Especially critical is to ensure the smooth process of citizen registration. At the same time, it is important to improve the security situation. Recent reports about the rising level of violence, killings and kidnappings, and gang-related criminality is extremely worrisome. We welcome the appointment of the new Director General ad interim. We encourage to redouble the efforts in order to stop gang-related criminal activities. It is important to protect an already shrinking civic space by ensuring that people engaging in the public debate can do so without endangering their lives and security. We recognize the efforts of the General Inspectorate of the Haitian National Police to investigate the allegations. However, while some law enforcement officials have received administrative sanctions as a result of misconduct, the judiciary has yet to hold Haitian National Police officers accountable, despite the several criminal investigations opened in recent years. We remain concerned by the lack of progress in judicial investigations of emblematic granravin, Saline, Belair, and other cases. Judicial staff and prosecutor strikes seriously affected the right of access to justice. Detention conditions remain dire despite sustained efforts by stakeholders to improve them. We stress the importance of enhancing accountability and call on the government of Haiti to improve the justice system and ensure that all cases are properly investigated and the perpetrators brought to justice.
It is. Yes.
We urge the government to adopt the National Action Plan on Human Rights, which has been pending since 2019. To conclude, I would like to thank Special Representative Helen Lalim and her team for their tireless work. We remain hopeful that continued efforts of all parties will bring a better future for Haiti. Haitian people deserve a stable state with democracy, the rule of law, and sustainable development. I thank you, Mr. President.
I thank the representative of Estonia for his statement, and I now give the floor to the representative of India.
Thank you, Mr. President. At the outset, let me also welcome the presence of President of Haiti, His Excellency Jovenel to today's meeting. I would like to thank SRSG Helen Lalim for her briefing on recent developments in Haiti. I also thank Ms. Vivienne Rock for bringing civil society perspective to this meeting. Today's briefing provides us with an opportunity to assess the situation in Haiti and the activities of the UN mission in fulfilling
This is NDR guy represent.
In particular, the 6 benchmarks concerning the integrated strategic framework. My delegation takes positive note of all that Haiti has achieved in the last decade following the devastating earthquake of 2010. The recovery of Haiti from the earthquake, the cholera epidemic, holding of elections in 2010 and 2015, and the peaceful transfer of power and better policing capacity reflect the resilience of the Haitian people. We also acknowledge the significant role played by the international community and bilateral partners in supporting the Haitian recovery. Nonetheless, the Haitian people continue to suffer from the effects of a multi-dimensional crisis that unfortunately has been prolonged for decades. Today, more than ever, they require the unwavering support of the international community. Haiti, as reflected in SG's report and evident from recent political developments, is facing serious political and security challenges. In addition, the COVID-19 pandemic is also adversely impacting the economic and humanitarian situation. Recent developments reflect fragile nature of the political situation and trust deficit among political actors. The lack of objective interpretation of the constitutional law has only accentuated the political differences, thereby adversely impacting institutional stability, good governance, and the rule of law. Mr. President, this year will be critical for Haiti in its efforts to build on the democratic gains made in the last decade. Political stability is fundamental to effective governance to stimulate overall socio-economic development. In order to achieve long-term political stability, it is crucial that all stakeholders engage in national dialogue and work towards conducting peaceful and credible legislative and presidential elections later this year. In this regard, let me make following observations. Number one, we have taken note of the appointment of an independent consultative constitutional committee. We hope that a consultative process involving all stakeholders will be undertaken to reach decisions that adequately reflect the hopes and aspirations of the people of Haiti. Number two, the disarmament and demobilization reintegration project carried out under the Secretary General's Peace Building Fund is helping in addressing the issue of violence brought by armed gangs. We hope for an early implementation of the National Community Violence Reduction Strategy by the Haitian authorities. We also welcome steps to strengthen the Haitian National Police to deal with the gang violence and its approach towards the community. Number three, the progress in justice reforms is critical to regain the trust of the people. In this regard, we note the role played by the General Inspectorate of the Haitian National Police in police reforms. Similar such proactive initiatives in other spheres of public security and criminal justice are needed. Number four, on benchmarks 5 and 6, we have taken note of the activities of the mission in supporting the efforts of the government and encourage it to continue its activities in line with the mandate. India stands ready to work with the UN Integrated Office in Haiti and UN country team in carrying out their mandate, especially in priority areas such as delivery of justice, convening of elections, and violence reduction by carrying out holistic capacity and institution building activities with full national ownership. We join the call for all stakeholders to engage in national dialogue to bring political stability, usher in constitutional reforms, and conduct elections peacefully to promote democratic institutions in the country with the support of international community. Mr. President, India has had long association with Haiti and its people. India has been a major troop contributing country to UN peacekeeping operations in Haiti and had contributed 3 formed police units to MINUTSA in 2008 and MINJUTS in 2017. The final batch of the Indian contingent of Assam Rifles departed Haiti in August 2019 and was awarded the United Nations Medal in recognition of their valuable work in the country. India contributed to the efforts of the Haitian authorities to deal with the devastating earthquake in 2010. In the immediate aftermath of the earthquake, India contributed $5 million to the government of Haiti towards relief measures, including the construction of a Gandhi housing village as a token of our solidarity with the people of Haiti. India also provided emergency financial aid to Haiti in the aftermath of Hurricane Matthew in October 2016. In July 2020, a project of $1 million was approved under India UNDP fund for installation of solar pumps in Haiti. India has been assisting Haiti in its fight against the COVID-19 pandemic, having provided HCQ and essential medicines in June last year, and is now in the process of sending 10,000 doses of COVID-19 vaccines. We look forward to continuing our support to the people of Haiti in their efforts to emerge more resilient from the current challenging times. I thank you, Mr. President.
I thank the representative of India for his statement, and I now give the floor to the representative of Vietnam.
Thank you, Mr. President. At the outset, I would like to warmly welcome His Excellency Mr. Jovenel, President of Haiti, for this meeting. I would like to thank Special Representative Ms. Helena Lams for her insightful briefing and all United Nations personnel for their dedications at these very challenging times. I would also like to thank Ms. Vivian Rook for her information on the latest social development in Haiti. Mr. President, we are worried about the lack of progress in many areas in Haiti, as shown in the Secretary General report. The continued violence and growing waves of kidnappings, especially gang-related criminalities over part of the country, has exacerbated existing instability. The divisions within its polities and the failures of dialogue to geopolitical agreements have further deepened the current political impasses and remain a huge loss for the people of Haiti. Against this background, I would like to share the following 3 points. First, on security situation, we are concerned about a number of long-standing threats and challenges, especially the recent increase in the level of gang-related violence and kidnapping over part of Haiti. Women, children, and other vulnerable groups have remained at risk of violence and continue to be marginalized in the political life of the country. In this connection, we are deeply concerned about a report that a film crew were attacked last weekend in Haiti, and 2 Dominican citizens of the crew were held hostage. We strongly condemn these ongoing violence and attacks. While the ongoing efforts to addressing criminalities are commendable, we urge the Haitian governments and local authorities to uphold their responsibility in dismantling of gang groups and criminal organizations. The measures should be taken to stop violence and to better protect vulnerable groups, particularly women, children, from the negative impacts of both the political, impasse, and socio-economic field. For further progress to be obtained, we echo Secretary General's call for Haiti authority to establish a comprehensive national weapons and ammunition management framework in accordance with relevant international arms control instruments, standards, and guidelines. Second, on political progress, the polarizations within the political actors and unscheduled electoral framework agenda have remained the biggest challenges hindering the constitutional reform, present one of the root causes of Haiti instability, and fuel anti-government protests. In this context, the year 2021 is a milestone for Haiti, especially in terms of holding elections. We therefore urge all related parties to make further efforts to reach a political agreement on modalities and timing of the elections acceptable to all Haiti stakeholders, including the political representation of women and youth. We continue our previously stated positions to call on the United Nations and the international community to urgently prioritize resources without preconditions for supporting the organization of these elections in a peaceful environment and to increase assistance needed to protect Haitians citizens on the road ahead. Third, on reconciliations, we would like to stress the importance of national unity for Haiti on the way forward. We call on Haitians, authorities, and all other concerned parties to give high priority to the interests of the people and demonstrate a spirit of mutual understanding and trust to overcome current differences. We believe that it is the vital path towards finding a common ground and a peaceful way out of the political impasses in Haiti. Last but not least, we commend the talent effort of BNUD and UN country team in Haiti and would like to reiterate our support for the Haitian people in the pursuit of peace, security, unity, and development in the country. I thank you, Mr. President.
I thank the representative of Vietnam for her statement, and I now give the floor to the representative of China.
Thank you, Mr. President.
China is in the house.
China thanks SRSG Lim for her briefing.
Is that a guy?
I have listened carefully to the presentation by the representative of the Haitian civil society and that of the Haitian official. At present, the political gridlock in Haiti remains. The COVID-19 pandemic is conflated with economic and social difficulties. Rising violent crimes are intertwined with social unrest. This has brought tremendous suffering to the people. Haiti is still trapped in multiple political, economic, and social crises. The Haitian people seem to have lost hope for the future.
Yes, it's true.
The Haitian government and leaders should be held responsible primarily for such hopelessness.
Absolutely,
and even despair.
absolutely, China.
For a long time, the Haitian political parties have engaged in endless feuds. Politicians have done nothing at all. Corruption and abuse of power persist in defiance of prohibition, and national governance has almost failed.
Yes.
This year is a crucial one for Haiti. The Secretary General describes it in his report as a watershed moment for Haiti. The constitutional referendum to be held in April and the subsequent parliamentary, presidential, and local elections will, to a large extent, shape the development of the Haitian political situation and the future and fate of the Haitian people. China supports the call of the Secretary General and strongly urges all political parties in Haiti to set store by the interests of the country and the people, by abandoning self-interests and taking up their responsibilities, and listen carefully to the views of people of all walks of life, and promote constitutional referendum and elections based on broad political consensus and through dialogue and consultations, so that conditions can be created for the early restoration of the country's political stability and achievement of security and development. They should not once again let the Haitians down and fail the expectation and the help of the international community. China appreciates the dedication and contribution of the UN to helping Haitian people and supports BNU in its continued mediation efforts to promote political dialogue in Haiti and the successful holding of elections. At the same time, years of experience and lessons have shown that unless all political parties in Haiti assume their responsibilities, demonstrate political will, and work together for national stability and development, any external efforts and help will be of no avail. Since the 1990s, the United Nations has invested huge resources in helping Haiti out of the crisis. Over the past 30 years, the Council has successfully deployed UNTMIF, MINUSTA, MINUJUS, and now BNU. The total cost of these operations has reached nearly $8 billion. In addition, various agencies of the UN system and international donors and partners have all along made enormous efforts to help Haiti restore stability, achieve development, and protect human rights. The accumulated investment is a staggering amount. It pains us to see that all these investments seem to have not been cherished and used wisely, nor have they yielded the desired results. I would like to stress here again that there is no solution to the Haitian problem from the outside. We should learn the lessons and we should comprehensively assess the situation in light of what's happening, ponder seriously on the future presence of the UN in Haiti, and avoid endless and fruitless investment. I thank you, Mr. President.
Wow, China.
I thank the representative of China for his statement, and I now give the floor to the representative of Mexico.
Señor Presidente, doy la bienvenida.
President, I'd like to welcome to this council His Excellency Jovenel Moise, President of Haiti, and I would like to thank the Special Envoy Helen Lamime and Madam Vivian Rock for their presentations. To hear the voices of civil society is of the greatest importance for the work of this body. Today we are addressing the situation in a country which is a sister nation to Mexico, with whom we have very deep ties of friendship. It is the first nation of Latin America and the Caribbean to obtain its independence. For my country, The situation in Haiti is a priority. Haiti's prosperity and stability is an important pending issue for the Americas. Recent political tensions and violence in Haiti are a source of great concern. And therefore, our collective efforts need to be geared towards democratic consolidation, and that would then bring with it political, economic, and social stability. The year 2021 is a crucial one for the democratic transition in Haiti. And we therefore urge the authorities and all national actors, with the support of the international community, to work together in order to guarantee peaceful, transparent, and participatory elections. We take note of the proposal of holding a constitutional referendum. We hope that the conditions which are necessary to allow for broad society's participation in Haiti will be guaranteed in a peaceful environment, and we urge the authorities to spare no efforts nor any resources in order to have a referendum which is truly a democratic exercise, one whereby the results reflect the people's will in Haitian society. Given the vital importance of elections that are to be held this year, and in order to ensure governance, democratic transition, and stability, with regard to the request put to the United Nations to provide support to Haiti, Mexico can offer, if it is agreed, Mexico can offer technical training to Haitian electoral authorities with a view to the upcoming elections. We value and support the activities of the United Nations Integration Office in Haiti in order to provide for institutional strengthening, stability, and development in this country. The Secretary General's report reflects a sensitive situation for the Haitian people. We take note of the actions undertaken to bring about significant reforms in the area of governance and governability, and thereby to overcome structural obstacles to development and electoral processes. We welcome the One UN plan, where cooperation and close coordination with and within the country team is absolutely fundamental in order to strengthen Haitian institutional capacity and to promote sustainable development. For Mexico, it's very important that BNU have fluid communications, that it support the Haitian authorities in their efforts to craft a strategy that would tackle the deep-seated, deep-rooted causes that have led to discordant social expressions. We're especially concerned about the violence that characterizes the gangs, and we hope that very soon a national strategy will be approved for reduction of community violence, and we urge the creation of a comprehensive national framework for managing weapons and munitions in keeping with international guidelines on arms control. We commend the government of Haiti's decision to align its national development strategy with Agenda 2030 and the support of the United Nations to the priorities defined by the country itself. Given the challenges of COVID-19 and the pandemic, Mexico would underscore its support to the social development component to provide for sustainable recovery, as indicated in BNU's mandate, and we would underscore the need for success with the three pillars: development, human rights, and security. The work of the ECOSOC Advisory Group for Haiti, where Mexico actively participates, has contributed to the identification, the clear identification of the very grave needs of the Haitian nation. As part of the science and technical cooperation projects promoted by Mexico in Latin America and the Caribbean, we will continue with our programs of grants to provide support to student mobility in Haiti and to strengthen our cooperation in the area of civilian protection when natural disasters occur. Mr. President, we're concerned by the human rights situation reflected in the Secretary General's report and the conclusions presented in the joint report by BNU and the Office of the High Commissioner for Human Rights. Specifically, with regard to accountability and the excessive use of force. The cases of threats and attacks on human rights defenders and members of civil society are inadmissible, and we underscore the need for fully respecting the freedom of expression. The soundness and independence of the judiciary are another key element in order to bring about stability in Haiti. The path to democratic consolidation requires judges and courts that can rule freely and whose rulings will consolidate the rule of law. Mr. President, the Council should spare no efforts to guarantee success of the transition model of any special political mission. To that end, it is vital that the work of the agencies be coordinated, as well as those of the funds and programs of the United Nations that are on the ground. In this regard, it would be helpful to consider openness in Haiti of an Office of High Commissioner for Human Rights. It would also help to promote the coordination of efforts, or better coordinate efforts of this council, the commission, and the Peace Building Commission and ECOSOC. Finally, we'd like to underscore that decisions on the future of Haiti are exclusively the purview of Haitians. We would reiterate our availability to support and overcome the very complex situation in which they're immersed currently through a democratic process where the interests of the majority would prevail with full respect of human rights, that will make it possible to lay the foundation for future prosperity as aspired to by the Haitian liberators some 230 years ago. Thank you.
I thank the representative of Mexico for his statement, and I now give the floor to the representative of Ireland.
Thank you very much, President. I would also like to thank the Special Representative of the Secretary General, Madame Lalime, for her briefing today. I would also like to welcome the presence amongst us of His Excellency Mr. Moise, President of the Republic of Haiti. I would also like to warmly welcome Madame Rock. President, there is no denying that today's meeting contains a sense of urgency. The situation in Haiti, as set forth in the most recent report of the Secretary General, deserves, and I would dare say requires, the attention of this Council.
All members of the Council please to mute their microphones. I give the floor to the representative of Ireland.
Merci. Depuis trop longtemps,
For far too long now, the Haitian people have been suffering from a series of crises that are interconnected. These are political, constitutional, security, economic, and of course, humanitarian crises. Given the time limitations, President, I will focus on 3 points.
First, the unavoidable need for genuine, inclusive dialogue. We're all too aware today that the climate in Haiti remains extremely fraught. For any of us, confidence in the rule of law, in a system of governance, is the bedrock of a functioning democracy. The cancellation of legislative elections, the dissolution of parliament, and the frequent and wide-reaching use of presidential decree risk deepening mistrust in the political system and widening gaps between political actors. The year ahead offers Haiti an opportunity to restore and revitalize its democracy. It's vital that the citizen registration process is conducted transparently and effectively, ensuring all Haitians eligible to vote are given the opportunity to do so. And it is particularly critical that the voices of women and youth in particular are heard. To be clear, we believe that the government's ambitious electoral calendar can only be successful if trust and engagement are built across the political spectrum.
Absolutely.
We call on all parties to urgently engage in an inclusive dialogue. The process of constitutional reform must be sensitively and carefully managed, including through appropriate public consultation. Once again, that consultation should include the voices of women and youth. We recognize the protection of civil society space, including the right to peaceful protest, as fundamental to a flourishing democracy. We regret the recent arrest of political and community leaders and call for the protection of journalists and of peaceful protesters. We're particularly concerned regarding the recent redefinition of terrorism to encompass acts of legitimate protest. My second point, Mr. President, Haiti's most vulnerable citizens are those who are suffering the most as a result of the deteriorating security situation. The reported scale of homicide, rape, abductions, and kidnappings are quite frankly shocking. Those responsible for those crimes must be held accountable. The impact of the violence and subsequent impunity on women, youth, and children is of deep concern. The 95.9% increase in human rights abuses registered by the UN mission itself is particularly stark. No community should live or be expected to live with this level of violence and fear. We urge the government to prioritize the adoption of the National Action Plan for Human Rights and the endorsement of the National Community Violence Reduction Strategy. Ireland welcomes the reported policing reform gains, but remains concerned at ongoing challenges faced by the judicial and penal systems. An end to impunity and unimpeded access to justice are a prerequisite if there is to be any chance of building trust among the people of Haiti. The removal from office of 3 Supreme Court judges this month is worrying. We strongly oppose attempts to undermine the role and independence of the judiciary.
Wow.
On a more positive note, I want to recognize and welcome the important role of the UN Peacebuilding Fund in Haiti. In particular, the project supporting access to legal and judicial aid services for women and youth are most valuable and facilitate their engagement in peace-building initiatives. This is really how durable and sustainable peace is achieved, not through all our high-minded statements here, but from the grassroots up, and with the full, equal, and meaningful participation.
Guy, I'm here, Guy. Thank you so much, everybody. I'm here, and I need to listen to this, and I do take notes, and that's I need to. This is very important.
My third point relates to the difficulties in the delivery of basic services and the chronic humanitarian need of more than 4.4 million Haitians, as we saw set out in the Secretary General's report. We commend the work of the World Food Programme in helping to keep Haitians from starvation. The real tragedy, of course, is that we know this suffering is not inevitable. International NGOs such as the Irish organisation Gwo report that humanitarian need is driven by violence, insecurity, climate vulnerability, and the instability we have discussed here today. Once again, the most vulnerable in society are forced to carry the heaviest burden. We see education, particularly that of girls, as a catalyst to deliver on peace building, security, and the advancement of gender equality. The approximately 1 in 3 girls and boys who are still out of school following the lost school year simply cannot be allowed to fall through the cracks. Madam Rock, in her poignant remarks to us today, has demonstrated the dynamic that there is in Haiti's youth. The international community simply must rise up to their impact and their promise with our action. Pour conclure, Monsieur le Président, nous sommes d'accord.
Conclude, President, we agree with the Special Representative that 2021 could be a turning point for Haiti. It is crucial for BNU to provide its absolute support to resolve the constitutional and political crisis, and for it to fully implement its mandate. I wish to once again reiterate deep support for BNU and the family of UN agencies and all actors who are working with the Haitian people to build a new future, one that is based on a peaceful transition of power, on a stable economic political system, and certainly a society free from intimidation and violence. Thank you very much, President.
The representative of Ireland for her statement, and I now give the floor to the representative of France.
Thank you, President. I should like first of all to thank the Special Representative, Ms. Lalim, for her very enlightening presentation, and Ms. Rock for her moving briefing.
This is French.
President Moise Jovenel. President, France notes with deep concern the deterioration of the situation in Haiti. We have repeated this on numerous occasions. The solution to this crisis must be a political one. As we know, in the absence of elections, the parliament has not been in session for a year already. The Haitian authorities are governing by decree, and some of these decrees are worrisome, notably the one creating the National Intelligence Agency, the one broadening the definition of terrorism, or that leading to the dismissal of 3 judges who were irremovable according to the Constitution.
Wow.
I have no reservations at all in stating that this situation is untenable in the long term. Elections are
Thank you so much, Akim. Thank you so much, Akim. Thank you, guys, for being patient. Thank you for the super chat, Akim. Thank you. I am here, guys. As you guys can hear, it's very important for me in my country. I'm listening to it, and after I turn it off, and I'm going to try to translate in a lot of them for people to understand what's going on in the United States to Haiti.
The distribution of identification cards so as to guarantee the broadest possible electoral participation. Thirdly, an impartial electoral judge must be established so that the results are accepted by everybody.
Thank you again.
A constitutional revision has been announced. It is not our place to speak on this process. We merely wish to ensure that the various stakeholders in the countries have the opportunity to debate the text and its institutional implications in the long term, and above all, that it will not further delay the conduct of the various elections. President, in terms of security and respect for human rights, the authorities must do more. I ask this question openly. How is it possible that Jimmy Cherizier is still walking free? Those responsible for the killings in La Saline and Bel Air must be brought to justice. I also note that the investigation into the killing of Dorval is not making progress. Fighting impunity must be the priority of the authorities. Given the resurgence of violence, and in particular the proliferation of kidnappings by gangs, the Haitian state must redouble its efforts. The Haitian National Police must be given more resources. and be consolidated and must be irreproachable in ensuring respect for the rule of law. We must look at the situation with clear eyes. The credibility of the institutions is severely eroded in Haiti today, particularly because of corruption affairs which destroy the population's trust. Almost 4 million Haitian people are living in extreme poverty and suffering from
Thank you so much, Akem. Thank you, Akem. I'll be with you in a minute. Give me a second. After French, and I wait for Venezuela.
The special representative of the Secretary General and the whole of
Thank you so much for Akem for that super shot. Thank you so much, my friend. Thank you so much.
And we
thank you so much, everybody, for here with me. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Thank you.
Political dialogue and governance. The work is essential. In conclusion, I wish to reaffirm that France, in its national capacity, but also through the action of the European Union and the Organisation Internationale de la Francophonie, will more than ever stand shoulder to shoulder with Haiti. Thank you very much.
I thank the representative of France for her statement. And I will now make a statement in my capacity as the representative of the United Kingdom. The United Kingdom welcomes the work of BNU and of SRSG Lalim, not least SRSG your efforts to ensure a more integrated UN response to Haiti's multifaceted challenges. At the same time, we remain deeply concerned by the political, social, and humanitarian landscape and the entrenchment of the
what you eating, Akem? What you eating, man?
The persistent political gridlock is deeply troubling. In what should be a year of democratic renewal for the Haitian people, we call upon all political actors to work together, to find common ground in order to build the right conditions for the successful conduct of democratic processes. In this context, we welcome the commitment of BNU to supporting and facilitating democratic processes in 2021, working closely with the key Haitian institutions. We echo the calls made in the Secretary General's report, encouraging the national authorities to spare no effort in surmounting the logistical challenges to elections, particularly registration of citizens. We share the Secretary General's concern about the deteriorating human rights situation, particularly the worrying increase
bitter good with egg and slide of tomatoes with French fry. Akem is American. He eating American food. Hey, you go, boy. So you go, sir.
We remain worried by the humanitarian situation, particularly the acute vulnerability of women and children, compounded by the economic and health threats presented by COVID-19. We encourage all actors to work in cooperation with the international community and the United Nations to tackle these challenges for the benefit of the Haitian people. I resume my function as President of the Council. Now, I have no more names inscribed on the list of speakers, but I just want to check whether His Excellency President Moise wishes to respond briefly to any points raised. Otherwise, I take that as a no.
Je pense que je ne vais pas répondre.
I don't think I will respond now. Thank you. I've had an enlightening session.
A further point you wish to make and you wish to do so briefly, you're very welcome to do so.
Merci, je voulais seulement ajouter un point.
I just wished to add a point that I see has been raised often, which is the decree regarding the 3 judges and the judiciary power. I wanted to reassure the Security Council about this decision because, as you know, we have made the decision. We haven't revoked the judges. We have given them the possibility, as was said in a past decree, and you mentioned this, that judges cannot be removed according to the Constitution, which is true. But Article 5 of the 2007 decree does say that judges from this particular court cannot participate in political affairs. The President of the Supreme Court.
No one do your duty, Akem. That's good.
Affairs can send you the position of the President of the Court on this. But the President of the Court has a verbal and also a written position. He has even requested some judges who want to participate in political affairs to resign. And I can send you this statement from the judge of the court. Thank you.
I want to thank His Excellency President Moise for his further statement and thank him for his participation today in our meeting. Colleagues, I have no more names inscribed on the list of speakers. This therefore concludes the live broadcast portion of this meeting, and we will revert to consultations of the whole. Thank you.
Children who lost their parents in earthquakes and floods. Girls and boys with different stories and backgrounds from my own. But, like all children, they have one thing in common. They have ambitions and they have dreams for a better future. I have travelled to many places around the world with UNICEF and heard firsthand from children who are calling out for change. Like the children I met in Indonesia who dream of a school with no bullying. They are leading a brave program to help make that happen. Or the children I spent time with in a refugee camp in Djibouti who are fleeing violence and war. They dream that one day they will be able to return home to live in peace. I met boys and girls in Nepal who just wanted to go back to school and back to normality, to be supported to fulfill their potential after the devastating earthquake. I heard from young people in South Africa and Swaziland who deserve to grow up free from diseases like HIV. And I thought of my own kids and watching them play without a care in the world when I met children in Cambodia. They, like all children, just want to feel safe and protected. I've seen for myself how UNICEF is helping to make the changes that children need to see in the world by delivering health services, nutrition, water and sanitation, plus education. All of the ingredients that children need to grow up healthy and happy and to unlock their full potential. But we know that much more work needs to be done. As leaders, as public figures, as parents, and of course as human beings, we must all do more to protect children's dreams. Because the future doesn't belong to us, it belongs to children. Like every parent, I've tried to teach my children about the world, to share the values that I was taught as a child, to help my kids find their own passion and purpose in life, to help them learn what is right and what is wrong. But I also know that every single day, our children are teaching us. As a father of a young daughter, I see her determination to achieve her goals and to have just as many choices in life as her brothers do. I see her being inspired by young women speaking out for change. I hear her passion about the need to protect our planet for the future. But around the world, the voices of children are getting louder. They are calling for better health, a visit to a doctor, a simple vaccination against diseases, a plate of food and clean water to drink. They are calling for a seat.
Guy, thank you so much, AKM. Thank you so much for the super chat, double super chat, my friend, and thank you so much. To appreciate you, guy. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming. We do appreciate you, guy, always there. And then AKM was late, but it's okay. Is he got a coke? He gotta go to the market, so he said nobody do it for him, so he gotta do it. Thank you, AKM, and do appreciate you, AKM. AKM is a grapple guy, very nice guy, and always appreciate you, guy. My vlog was here with me, and then Mick Channel was there, and then the Zenga brothers and family, long time. Don't see was there with me. Thank you so much, guys. Do I appreciate you guys. But I want you guys, please be patient with me. And I'm going to translate some of what I was listening to. I'm going to translate a bit of it. And then I'm going to come back with you guys. Please don't go nowhere, Ikem. Stay there with me. Thank you so much, Ikem. OK? Mesdames et messieurs, haïtiens et qui vivent dans tout pays à travers le monde là. Et nous attendons déclaration qui t'a faite dans les Nations Unies. Nous pas tellement entendu déclaration du président Jovenel comme nous habituons des déclarations déjà. Nous pas tellement intéressés à attendre déclaration. Et ça nous voulait faire haïtiens comprendre Américain était américain. Tout pays dans le monde là était pays dans le monde là. Même les ouais qui tout y a supporté toute l'autre nation, y a supporté. Mais y a supporté lorsque ça bon. Les pour pas supporter là, les pour pas bon, y a tout pas bon. Et nous pas tellement entendu déclaration et ambassadeur et madame Laline dans le pays d'Haïti avec nous pas entendu déclaration. Mais nous avons des reports et secrétaire des Nations Unies tablé et je pense que ce sont des reports qui vraiment touché le pays d'Haïti et je pense que si le président Jovenel, son président vraiment qui gagne ça un sentiment, son haïtien tout bon qu'il y est, et nous pensons que ça t'a fait automatiquement l'étang de ça, il t'a bien relé après demain matin, il t'a cherché un moyen pour voir comment il peut résoudre la crise du pays d'Haïti. Majorité monde qui parle yo spécial nous avons de la Chine qui c'est China et lorsque China t'a parlé China t'a dit crise haïtienne non c'est crise haïtienne c'est nous prise haïtien supposé résoudre crise pas yo dans le pays d'Haïti et soit attendez et China encore China dit passe 30 ans et United Nation yo deux pensées près de 80 ou bien 80 combien millions ou bien 8 millions ou bien 80 combien millions de dollars dans le problème pays d'Haïti. China dit si Américain besoin de solution, si Nations Unies besoin de solution dans le pays d'Haïti, il a pour faire un petit bac, un petit camper pour quitter Haïtien résoudre crise pays d'Haïti. Et nous avons écouté encore et ça plus touchant. Et le président Jovenel était là, moi, il prend défense, il dit, il va expliquer ce qui passé juge. Et la communauté internationale là, il est vraiment en désaccord avec le président Jovenel parce que l'Allemagne juge qui dit qu'on connaît constitution haïtienne non, pas aucun président droit pour manier on juge. Écoutez bien, oui, on juge dans la cassation. C'est gros juge, gros chef, parce que même Bagay avec le président. Il dit qu'il n'y a pas nul droit pour le tamain. Le président Jovenel t'a pris défense, il te dit comme ça. Ça fait, il fait ça le fait, il te même demandé juge qui voulait aller dans la politique pour quitter le job là. Et si il demande ça, bon, je ne connais pas s'il demande. Donc, c'est ça pour messieurs juristes dans le pays d'Haïti qui connaît, ça les lois, la constitution. Est-ce qu'il doit pour le tamain? Deuxièmement, il y a plus de pays qui m'a dit président Jovenel pour faire élection en 2021. Ça veut dire, il m'a dit faut qu'il fasse élection en 2021. Et quoi que, et nous attendons encore, nous parlons de ça, tel que dans tout plus gros pays, tel que la France dit comme ça, dossier M. Dorval là, il ne peut pas marcher bien du tout. Pas de progrès dans le dossier M. Dorval là. Avocat, l'ordre, pour nous présenter tout hier, il dit, la France dit qu'il n'y a pas de progrès là-dedans. Et bien la France, c'est pas nous dire. Troisièmement, la France dit comme ça, moun qui fait massacre, la saline, d'après rapport et secrétaire et Nations Unies appelé, il dit, moun qui fait massacre la saline, pas doué à marcher dans la rue et puis il a marché dans la rue par exemple Fednel mon chéri par exemple et Jimmy Cherizier il pas doué à marcher dans la rue il touché dossier encore côté on dit qu'on ça que lorsque ces gangs yo cap manifester, yo protégé. Les gangs cap manifester, yo protégé. Alors, m'ta souhaité qui président Jovenel et m'penser et madame ambassadeur en Haïti, il parle de créole, m'penser de parler de l'émission, il va faire l'école avec président Jovenel comme c'est blanc pour dire qui ça pour faire, il va faire l'école avec président Jovenel, il va dire mon cher, ça que te dit yo pas bon pour vous. Ça que te dit dans Nations Unies, dans United Nation, yo pas bon pour vous. Yo pas bon pour le pays d'Haïti, yo pas bon pour vous. Majorité pays qui parlaient de dossier Haïti, yo gardé Haïti très très bas. On t'a écouté et représentants qui sorti dans le pays Afrique là, bon majorité pays, mais la France et la Chine ou bien China, yo dit que la France, surtout pour la France, il dit comment président qu'a fait à révoquer juge dans le cours de cassation que ça va mentir, il n'a pas le droit pour faire ça le faire. Il dit que et il y a presque 1 an, pays a pas de parlement là-dedans, qui a dirigé. Il a même dit encore, la France pour constitution, Island also, ou paquet de pays qui dit pour réforme constitution qu'il a dit à faire, il a demandé faut que le président a établi confiance dans le peuple là et dans tout le monde qui suppose consulter non pour faire affaire constitution. Il a senti pas la constitution qui a parlé, il n'a pas inspiré confiance. Il a parlé de faire l'élection 2020-2021. Il a demandé faut que tu aies l'élection en 2021, majorité mondiale. Parce qu'il dit qu'il a arrêté et il y a un monde qui était fait massacre à Salinan, qui est Nations Unies, cité non encore, fednel chéri, BBQ, et Jimmy Cherizé, parce que BBQ a dit Cherizé, il cité non encore, il a arrêté fednel mon chéri, il a la gueule. Les gangs qui ont manifesté, il dit il n'y a pas de problème pour manifester dans l'arrière. Il a demandé c'est quoi ça? Est-ce que ça c'est un pays qui a marché vrai? Est-ce que un pays qui a fonctionné vraiment vrai? C'est grave pour le pays d'Haïti. La France dit, pour faire 3 juges, il n'y a pas de président pour faire ça le faire. Il était venu dire que c'est parce que en 2007, ou bien comment on dit, en 2007, il y a un article qui était écrit qui dit, juge pas doué dans la politique. Bon, on est Bagay, est-ce que tu as supposé, ouais. Deuxièmement, il a dit, il y a un kidnapin qui fait là dans le jour, il a arrêté 2 citoyens, 2 citoyens dominicains. Il a arrêté en Haïti. Et il a dit, chef là, excusez-moi, porte-parole là, ça dit, 3 moun sa yo arrêté, c'est non une machine blanche avec plaque officielle. Il dit que moun sa yo y a lavé au granravin. C'est grave. Est-ce qu'il y a un pays qui a dirigé comme ça? Pour un porte-parole la police dit arrêté, yo kidnappé moun, li côté y a lavé la saline. Excusez-moi, granravin. Mes amis, mes pays d'Haïti. Mais ça coûte pays d'Haïti. Yo dit que toute majorité pays yo dit à faire élection qu'a parlé pour pays d'Haïti, est-ce que tu as de confiance, esprit confiance dans le peuple là, et le peuple a fait choix. Ça dit que le président Jovenel dit mais toute bagaille. Deuxièmement, il dit comment faire le président Jovenel constater mandat sénateur fini en 2020, je crois, en 2020, janvier 2020, lui-même, il n'a pas constaté mandat fini en 2021. Et il était élu pour 6 ans. Lui-même, il est élu pour 5 ans. Il est élu pour 5 ans, monde ça, il est élu pour 6 ans. En 2020, il faut aller. Il est élu dans l'élection ensemble avec en 2016. Je pense à Soya, je pense Madame Laline comme boss Jovenel, ambassadeur américain. Je pense pour parler de l'île et pour Jovenel connaître pour le camp pour ouais. C'est même ambassadeur américain qui portait document ça par les Nations Unies, qui a montré qui va les problèmes dans le pays d'Haïti. Ou 3 bagages ça je vais l'évoquer. Si tu as ça l'opposition dans le pays d'Haïti, tu as mis la terre. Mais si tu as opposition en Haïti, dans 3 jours ça l'imam il dit qu'il va révoquer non, et ça dit il va révoquer il va opportunité pour que opportunité le bail. Parce qu'il y a une opportunité de bail. Mais c'est tout ça, nous devons faire un petit commentaire. Je vous dis, ça dit dans United Nation, ça veut dire les Nations Unies, n'est pas bon pour le pays d'Haïti. Et je pense que le président Jovenel, je pense que l'ambassadeur américain, il parlera les oreilles. Il parlera les oreilles. Et il m'a dit pour le faire une constitution, il faut l'inspirer confiance tout secteur. Les filles dit, doit moun pas protéger dans le pays d'Haïti. Sécurité, c'est tête chargée dans le pays d'Haïti. Yo dit américain, yo même communauté internationale là, yo prend ça très sérieux, parce que président l'entrée dans toute institution, c'est lui-même seul chef qui gagne dans le pays d'Haïti. Voilà, en gros, mais à quel niveau? Pays d'Haïti tombé. À bon entendeur, sali. Tout le monde qui veut entendre, attendez, ça en anglais, on a parlé. Alors, nous n'avons pas traduire bien, mais nous faisons effort, nous sommes capables. Nous faisons mieux entendre. Ça t'a dit, dans les Nations Unies, je dis, yo pas bon pour le président Jovenel. Yo détecte très bas, ils vont couper d'Haïti. Et yo mandel pour faire petit camper. Surtout dans Bagay Jizio. Ça a vraiment touché moun yo. Ça dit que l'institution ça est-ce que yo pas indépendant? Il faut montrer l'institution pas indépendant. Ça a vraiment touché moun yo. Yo mandel font petit bac. Peuple haïtien et c'est nous connaît. Si nous pas lever camper, puis ta va peut-être pour nous. Mais moi-même, dis nous ça. D'après ça, me tente aujourd'hui, dans une nation, la société, j'en parlé, il n'est pas mon pays d'Haïti. Et me penser, président Jovenel, s'il pas en sang, tout bon, il faudra tout toucher de sa cap Dio, de sa du devant lui. Pour montrer aux Américains, il n'est pas avant. Les lavons, c'est leur fait ça qui bon. Quand on fait ça qui pas bon, il y a montrer pas avant. Il dit que, fednel mon chéri, il cité dans le massacre là. Il kebe la avec arrêté, il la gueule. Comment il fait dans la rue? Comment fait l'autre moun qui va faire? Journaliste yo doit menacer. N'est-ce pas que protection? Quoi qu'il dit, il dit que il veut s'habiller en police, mais il veut s'habiller en invité. Mais ce sont honte pour le président Jovenel pour la prendre défense, c'est pas sans honte et pour le taper pour demander qu'il remette démission demain matin. Parce que ce sont sans honte liés qui fait le parler qui était pouvoir. Et bien, mes amis, peuple haïtien, mes côtés nous prend, dans mec trop, nous avons voté pour descendre la trop, nous avons voté pour petit grain de banane pour la trop. Vous comprenez ça? Ben, pas bon pour nous. Mais maintenant, qui niveau nous prend? Merci tout le monde. Merci tout haïtien, côté nous hier. Dans nous temps des vidéos là. Ça me dit qu'attendez, il est en anglais, à écouter en anglais. Il fait effort, il fait que petit résumé. Mais nous-mêmes, attendez là en anglais. Il y a des gens qui parlent, n'attendez. La France, vraiment touchée. Si vous dossier mettre Dorval là, mon ferrier Dorval là, il touche en pile. Massacre la saline, ça parle en pile. Massacre saline, massacre belé, il parle ça en pile. Il m'a dit comment faire des ça dans la rue. Il n'y a pas dans la rue. Et ça triste là, c'est là où dit il a arrêté deux citoyens dominicains. Et puis, porte-parole la police a dit, il compte côté à la veille, c'est granravin, il y a la veille. C'est grave. Il y a la veille au granravin. Est-ce qu'il cherche le granravin? Ça le fait avec granravin. Comment faire causer là à la veille? Parce que c'est son machine officielle qui est kidnappé. Merci tout le monde. Merci tout le monde. Okay, guys, thank you so much, everybody. Thank you, guys. Thank you for being patient. Akem, I'm back with you, Akem. I'm back with you. And thank you so much. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you. Thank you for the super chat. Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you. God, what's going on? I really need to listen to it. Thank you so much for being patient with me, guys. You guys so kind and nice to me. Thank you so much, guys. Dean Mick channel, my friend. Thank you so much. Akem, ni grapo, ni grapo. Yeah. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much. Man, we do appreciate you guys so much. You guys are the best. You guys are the best. Yes, my vlog, you that thank you, sister. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You guys are the best. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you, thank you. We got 4 million people in the house, guy. Guy is almost time to close it out. Guy almost time to close it out. And I was listening to this guy. It was a good fun, and I do listen to it. It was nice, and uh, politics is always. I always listen to politics, but sometimes it's, whatever. Akem say you got this, you win this. Akem, thank you, my friend. Thank you, my friend. Thank you, thank you, Akem. Guy, we about to close it out, guy, and let's say we got in 4 minutes, right? 4 minutes to close it out, guy. 4 minutes. So to me, it's midnight. Guy, thank you so much, everybody. Let's shut it down, guy. Thank you so much to Kim. Thank you so much, my vlog. Thank you, guys. Peace out. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Jim. I got the super shot, man. I got it. Thank you so much, guy. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Mariano. Don Mariano TV. That's not Don Marino. That's Don Mariano, guys. San Mariano TV. Thank you, my friend. Thank you, Don. Thank you, Don. I know you're from Gem Jeep Jeep. Thank you, my friend. Thank you. Thank you so much, guy. I'm shut it down. And thank you for the support, guy. Thank you, Jim, for the super sticker, man. Thank you, my friend. Thank you. Okay, guys, thank you so much, everybody. Bye-bye. It's time to go. Bye-bye, everybody. Bye-bye. Ciao, ciao. Peace out, guys. Thank you.